Okay, so today I wanted to talk about some of my favorite good girl gone bad eras. We've seen this 1,000 times before, but whether it be maybe that was their personality and everything like that, and then they kind of, grew into, being women and everything like that, and like, what, I want to be sexy, I want to show more skin, or maybe it was a label saying like, hey, like we want you to, dress more conservatively and not say or do certain things, and then they were like, fuck that, and let's do our own thing. We've seen it before, we'll see it again, but it's iconic. Okay, so here's some of my favorites. Okay, so Mariah Carey, Butterfly, yeah, this was the album, okay? Mariah wrote all of her songs from the beginning and everything like that, okay? And some people might not know that, but like I said, stuff like Fantasy, All I Want for Christmas Is You, Mariah has 19 number one hits, 18 of those she wrote herself, okay? And so she had control in that respect, but each album she was kind of fighting to get more so control in terms of the production, in terms of how she wanted to be seen and everything like that, and the people that she wanted to work with and all those other things. Like on a song Dream Lover, which was on the Music Box album, she wanted to have a rapper on that, and she said the label was not ready for that, okay? They were not letting her do that and everything. Tommy Mottola, who was the head of Columbia, Sony at the time, she was married to him, and so he very much had a lot of say on like the types of music that she was putting out and everything, how he wanted her songs to sound, how she was dressing and presenting herself and all those other things. And she basically said they wanted me to sing and go home. Like they were not very much encouraging me to show my actual personality and everything like that. I thought it's kind of interesting that she said that Tommy wanted her to have the curls and everything more like that, and she wanted to straighten her hair and everything like that. And there was very much a power struggle with that. I did a deep dive on my main YouTube channel, Anastasia 25, on her whole 90s career, and I kind of talk about that if you want to hear more of my detailed thoughts on the era. But yeah, Daydream, you kind of get some tints of it. You had Fantasy, you had the Fantasy remix with ODB, which was a big deal for her, and she was very much pushing for that. And now we're here, we're at Butterfly, okay? She finally got rid of Tommy Mottola with his old hag ass and said, it's time to make sexy music. It's time to make the music that I want to make. And that's what we got, okay? Honey, that was very monumental for her because, she was showing, more skin than she had in years past and everything like that. She was jumping into the pool for the music video. She was dancing with the sailors. She was having the time of her life, okay? In this whole era, she was really showing her skin and dressing how she wanted to dress the entire time. If you see that black dress, lambs know exactly which one I'm talking about, but I think just search up Mariah Carey black dress 97, you'll see exactly which one I'm talking about. But there was that moment. She had a lot of good outfits and moments during this era, and she was just comfortable in her skin. Like she was finally being able to show off her personality. She could dress how she wanted to, work with who she wanted to, etc. Okay, so Honey, that was a lead single, and that was a big moment for her. My All, she was pining over Derek Jeter. Okay, so you had that moment, and that was a big single for her. Okay, that was number one. You had The Roof, another song about Derek Jeter, which tended to be a fan favorite, and so many other good songs on this album. Breakdown, another fan favorite, and she had Crazy Bone and Wishbone, both Thugs and Harmony on that, and that it was just peak. That has to be one of Mariah's best songs. I love Baby Doll, I love 4th of July, I love Outside. That's her talking about being biracial. But yeah, sonically there were just so many cool things to listen to and everything like that. Honey had 2 different samples that she wanted to put on the song, kind of having that non-Derek Jeter and everything. And Tommy was pissed, okay? She could finally do what she wanted, and he wasn't really going to stop her in terms of that and everything. He heard Honey, he knew that shit wasn't about him. Okay, he was pissed. And so he didn't really promote this album the way that he should have and everything. Like half the singles weren't even released in the US. They were released, in Europe and all those other things. And, he did not promote the album the way that he should have. And, that's unfortunate. But, the era and the album, it's special. It's her best album. It's her artistic peak. I think songwriting, you get some of her most personal songs here. I forgot to talk about Closed Minds, but that's a very personal song as well as Outside. Her vocal arrangements, the vocal layering on here was top tier as well, and everything like that. I love the production. I think it was really good for that time, and yeah. And like I said, that's why Mariah doesn't get relegated to the 90s, because she was like, fuck it all, I'm gonna do what I want. Okay, so Butterfly was special. It was a template for a lot of people, okay? Next up, I got Janet Jackson's Janet album, okay? Y'all know Janet got the lobotomy, okay? Y'all know what it is. The Janet era, and the album, it's iconic in its own way. It's not necessarily my favorite Janet album, but you have to give respect for, what it's done in its place in her career and everything like that. If was a great song, they wanted it to be the lead single and everything like that. That's kind of what Janet was looking for and everything like that. And they were like, no, you have to do That's the Way Love Goes. And they have this whole story where they kind of talk about how they got to that point. I posted it on my second YouTube channel. If you're watching this on TikTok, Anastasia vlogs, try to just search up that and then Janet, hopefully it pops up. But I posted the clip that I found of that and everything like that, so they kind of talk about that. But That's the Way Love Goes, she very much went from kind of, getting in the sounds of that era and everything like that to kind of creating trends with that. Time, Any Place, okay, Janet getting more sexual and everything like that. And she was kind of leading up to this moment with this album and everything. Because if you look at our previous albums, on Control, she's having Funny How Time Flies. on Rhythm Nation, she was giving you something like Someday Is Tonight and everything like that. So she was kind of ramping up for this moment. Even on this photo and everything like that, it's a zoomed in cover, and this actual cover, I think, for Rolling Stone is one of the most like iconic covers of all time and everything like that. But yeah, like in the videos and everything like that, she was like very much like pushing forward sexuality and everything like that and everything. So yeah, it was like a big moment for that, and she really became a sex symbol during this era. Okay, so it was very much different from how she was received her first tours and everything. Okay. We know the beginning albums, no one really gives a fuck like that. And then whenever you had Control and everything, it was cute for the time. I still do enjoy the album, but it was a whole different vibe. Rhythm Nation was kind of just talking about politics and systemic issues and everything like that. So it was more deep in that, but you also had some really fun pop songs. And then this one was just taking a full moment kind of on to sexuality and all those other things. Okay, you also have like The Body That Loves You. So that's a lot of the vibe of the album, but there's still some good songs on here. It's just not my personal favorite. Okay, so you gotta have some respect for what she did with that era and everything like that. I prefer some of the stuff she did before, and also I would prefer Velvet Rope. Okay, people compare Velvet Rope a lot to Butterfly, but Janet, that's the one that really launched her into the sex symbol kind of moment and everything like that. And then we got Rihanna, Good Girl Gone Bad. I mean, yeah, it's called Good Girl Gone Bad, pretty self-explanatory, but I mean, she has hits. She had hits. You know, the haircut was fresh. She had Umbrella. She had Disturbia, Fuck Chris Brown. She had the Hate That I Love You song. She had a Rehab, which was a great song on here. Take a Bow. She started off the song saying, "You look so dumb right now." Okay, it was cutting edge for that time. Rihanna needed to shake up her image a little bit. Those first two albums weren't doing jack shit outside of the singles, and I don't care what anybody says. And this album, she got the change in image. You know, they got her the songs that she needed to do, and it was just refreshing. It was just refreshing. So Good Girl Gone Bad, it was a special album, obviously. Arianagrande, Dangerous Woman. Dangerous Woman, it was needed. The first two albums, you know, I like the first two albums, but Dangerous Woman, the song said, "I'm here, I'm older, I'm trying to make some shit shake." Okay, so you had that. I think that Into You is one of the best pop songs to ever be recorded. Okay, I love Into You. Greedy was a really fun song. You had Leave Me Lonely, Sometimes was really good. I think that was on the deluxe, but still. So yeah, again, moments where she was pushing towards it, Side to Side, you know, that is a big moment and everything like that. The innuendos on there. So yeah, this was Ariana kind of going in a different way. I like this album, I do. I would prefer Sweetener over Dangerous Woman, but this was where she really took the turn. I got Taylor Reputation. You guys know I don't go for this album. I've said it 1,000 times. I think it's actually one of her worst albums and everything. The era was somewhat decent. Okay, this album cover, if only the album was good as the album cover. I always say this. But Look What You Made Me Do video, that was absolutely iconic. Her tour sold a lot as well and everything like that. And it was kind of her going into this darker aesthetic and sounds and everything like that. Because she did 1989 before, which was just a straightforward pop album, which I love. And then she had this kind of going into the situation with Kanye, and when she was dating Joel One at the time and kind of finding love within that, and her reputation and public consciousness and all those other things. And yeah, I think that this album was necessary. She had to address that situation because she got canceled for that Kanye shit, and it was later revealed and everything like that, you know, the phone call was edited and Taylor was telling the truth and everything like that. So it had to be done. The way that it was done was not my favorite, okay? But, you know, you see some songs like Don't Blame Me, I Did Something Bad, you know, kind of in the tinge of that. She had a song with Future and Ed Sheeran, Endgame. Okay, she had Dress. I fucking hate that song. Don't even get me started. I don't even want to go into it. Okay, we got Britney Spears, Britney album. Yeah, the first two albums were cute. You know, she was young, teenager and everything like that. And here, I think she was, 21 when she had this album. And yeah, you can kind of tell she was at a crossroad. No pun intended, that movie ate. But she had I'm Not Girl, Not Yet a Woman. Okay, that was a great song. Cinderella is my favorite Britney Spears song of all time. She had I'm a Slave for You, that choreography and all the other stuff. During that time, she had the performance with the snake, I think, at the VMA, so that was certainly iconic as well. Okay, so that was definitely a big moment for kind of pushing that through. Bombastic Love was certainly a favorite. I Love Anticipating, I Run Away. So this was just a more mature effort compared to the first two. She really started to come into her own on this album. Some people might say In the Zone, but you know, this album is really where Britney's discography starts hitting for me. Okay, so you have that. You could say Beyonce self-titled. Okay, I thought about adding that on here. But what she was kind of doing there with stuff like Drunken Love, for example, Rocket, Partition, kind of getting more explicit in those ways. And you know, that was a cultural reset, it being a surprise release, etc. But yeah, these are just some of my favorite Good Girl Gone Bad eras and everything like that, or notable ones that came to mind. Okay, so there might be some that I am forgetting, but you know, whenever you are a pop star and everything like that, especially as a woman, you're gonna kind of have this era where you break out and everything and you're just like, fuck everything else. Okay, so you have that. You could say Miley Cyrus bangers. Okay, Adore You, We Can't Stop, Wrecking Ball, an era that was. Okay, but let me know down below what is your favorite out of these, and what are your favorite Good Girl Gone Bad eras and everything like that, and we can continue this conversation. But I just thought it'd be something that was fun to talk about.